Well, hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy to be here and talking to you today. No, that's not true. That's just not true. See, I was just telling Goose here that the worst thing I could ever do is take a nap midday. I never take naps because when I wake up, I'm usually annoyed. So I'm trying to put a smile on my face. But you know, I want to go back to sleep, don't you? I don't know how men are great at naps. Men can just close their eyes and they're off and they're gone, and it can just be a 20-minute nap. If Inga doesn't take a 3-hour nap, she'll wake up annoyed. So I just remind me never to take naps. Anyway, I do mean happy Wednesday, and I do mean welcome to the show. Thank you for hanging around with us and playing with us. Goose over here keeping it all going, and we had a new show premiere on Kerncast today.
I took the green screen off.
You did? You what?
I was adjusting your background because apparently you're
Turquoise?
For some reason I could see your banner through your body.
I would prefer that. Is the banner whiter than my body? If it is, keep it up.
Okay, I'll put it back up.
Oh, by the way, today for your beverage enjoyment, lemonade with a little Diet Pepsi in it. I got to stop with the lemonade. Too much sugar, but man, when it's hot, is there anything you want more than...
So.
That's how it looks. All right. Anything you want more than lemonade, or like Solomon just bought some lime popsicles the other day. I can't wait to get home to one. And so anyway, but I do have turquoise for you today. I got another one of these bauble bracelets that's already driving me nuts. Something from New Mexico somewhere. And my kids got me this. Oh, and the hair? Yeah, it's hot.
Is it really? I can't...
You can't tell anymore? Usually my garage is a little bit cooler than it is outside. You know, not today, man. I opened that fire door between the garage and the laundry room was so vast. I think it sucks the life out of you. I really do. I think it really did. It really does. I did not read this story, but I came across it while we were just yapping before we came on the air, and I can't wait to see what this story says. You know, so much these days is put into, so much meaning is put into words. I know what I was going to say, though, first. We debuted a new show today.
Yeah, we did have a new show today.
And he's a veteran.
He's a veteran.
You know, I'm noticing this is a unique time because you had your veterans like, I don't know, Jimmy Stewart, right? He was a pilot and an officer and in World War II, and I think he reached colonel. And then he comes home and he just goes back to his life. It's the way it was back then. You go back to your life. Now, this younger generation of soldiers, they come home and they want to talk. And I actually like it because I think they need to talk and I think we need to hear, you know? So anyway, good. I'm glad. And he's going to be on every Wednesday?
Yeah, we're going to be, he's going to be on every Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
He like a lot of people who start a show, he was a little raw.
Oh,
and,
man.
It's
so brutal.
Well, it's funny because we were talking, and I said, "What are you going to talk about today?" He said, "I'm going to introduce myself and a little bit about, talk about the VA, Sean's affiliated with the VA, and all." And we go, "Okay," and we get through the first 15 minutes, and we go to break, and he goes, "I don't have anything else to talk about."
Look, darling, I've been doing this for 25 years, and when Goose came in today and said, "What are we talking about?" I said, "I have no idea." That was before we started. So you're good. You're good.
I told him that's normal.
Yeah, it really is. And when you know you're going to do your first radio show, you have time to think about it. Like it's not just, "Hey, come in tomorrow. You're hosting a show." They let you know, in advance, and so you have like 2 weeks to prep for one show, and then all of a sudden you got 2 minutes to prep every day, and so it's a fun life. It's definitely a fun life. No, I was but before I asked you about that, I was talking about words, and I get really tired of how hung up we all get on words. And we've all been that way. I mean, I do it when it favors me. Other people do it when it favors them. And what I mean by that is, you pull out the arguments like, oh, that's racist, right? Shuts everything down. Even if what the person said, they didn't intend to be racist. And it's even worse if you are saying something about, say, homosexuals. Listen to this story. Cal Poly has revoked the wrestling scholarship of Bronson Harmon, a Modesto area high school graduate, after video surfaced of him yelling a homophobic slur and making an obscene gesture during a counter-protest of the Families Belong Together march in Modesto. Cal Poly Athletic Director Don Oberhelman declined to comment on the reason why Harmon's scholarship was good. Okay, anyway, here's the thing. He was their top wrestler. He's their top wrestler they recruited. Man, this guy's career is going to be great. He's going to get through college on maybe even on a full ride for wrestling. And he goes and he expresses his opinion at a rally where he's probably on the wrong side for Cal Poly of the rally. Families Belong Together march in Modesto. Yeah, that's probably about the kids being separated and all that. And okay, he said something, he made an obscene gesture, and he said something homophobic. They don't say what he said, but I don't really care. Good gravy, we're to the point where we're really ruining people's lives. Now, if you're a national figure and you say something really stupid, that you're a politician or you're a performer and you've been at this for 50 years and you know when you should say things and you know when you shouldn't and you still say something, okay, that's a little bit more on you. I still don't think your life should be over as a result. But this is a kid, he just graduated from high school and he no longer has a scholarship to a university because he expressed his First Amendment off campus in Modesto. I just think that's wrong. I think that is just wrong. Harmon was also allegedly involved in an incident after the slur was captured on video that led to a formal complaint being filed with the Modesto Police Department, according to a spokeswoman. And that's about all. Oh no, there's more. Harmon, a recent graduate of Oakdale High School and CIF state meet medalist, can be seen in the video obtained by the Tribune, walking with his father and a friend carrying a sign that reads Donald Trump 2016. Oh my God! To counter the march protesting the zero tolerance immigration policies of the Trump administration. Harmon shows his middle finger. Oh, that's what he did? That's what he did? I mean, I was just watching, what was I watching? A Family Guy rerun. It's a flipping cartoon. And they're flipping people off on regular television. He flipped somebody off and he said, F you, F-A-G-G-O-T. That's what he said. Now, was he saying it to somebody who was gay? Doesn't appear to be. Doesn't appear that he did. So I just don't get it. I just don't get it. When somebody yells to a thin person to shut their big fat mouth, is that immediately some kind of a weight discrimination? I don't get it. That's all I'm saying. It really is very sad. It's been viewed over 30,000 times on Facebook as of last night. And he will not get to go to this college. And gee, I can see him right there. I can see him. He is holding a sign that says Trump 2016. And he's standing behind his father, who's holding up a sign that says Veterans for Trump. So it gets exhausting. I was on my Facebook page last night, and I made a comment after seeing the news on the news that the Arvin City Council and their mayor voted to go ahead with their ban on oil production and opening up new wells in that area. And we had my friend Tracy Leach on, 2 weeks ago, right before 4th of July, to talk about the revenues that these oil people bring, the the help that they give to schools with their money and their taxes, and the city's decided because of what? Because of what? Because of some environmentalist who came along. Have you ever noticed how much of a grasp environmentalists and racial groups, the hold they have on small towns? Because that's where all this stuff, well, it happens, of course, in LA and San Francisco too, but small towns. And so you go to Arvin, and they've told the people who are currently have wells drilled that once those are tapped out, it's over. They can still stay there. They can still continue to produce oil. They just can't drill any new wells, and they can't start any new production projects, and they can't. So they can't expand. Now, I can't help but question, if you're so worried about the health of the people in the community at the level at which they were producing right now, why would you vote to allow them to continue to produce to the level that they're producing right now? If it's truly a health hazard, if it really is a health hazard, and by the way, who can tell in Arvin? No, seriously, who can tell? It is the dirtiest place in that, and I don't mean that, I'm not being negative, I just mean, in terms of air quality, it's probably the worst place in the entire country because of where it sits at the base of the grapevine. And so anyway, they voted for this. I thought it was stupid, and so I immediately said the city council and the mayor of Arvin are idiots. And a friend of mine who is Hispanic, used to be a city council member, is a liberal, extreme, never, ever, ever jumps on my page unless I'm unless I'm saying something about Hispanics. Now, the majority of the city council in Arvin is Hispanic, I think. And so he jumps on immediately. Why do you have to go calling people names? And my first thought was, there it is again. This student who doesn't have a scholarship because of something that came out of his mouth. I have an opinion about people who happen to not be white. I don't care. They're idiots. And that's what I told my friend. They're idiots. How can you vote to allow the current level of pumping and drilling and all that to continue if the current level is what you're fussing about? I call that idiocy. I'm sorry. And my friend jumped on immediately and was, name calling and blah, blah, blah. And I know why he did it, because they were Hispanics. And I just get so sick of this stuff. I really do. I didn't mean to start the first of the show being a negative Nelly.
Go right ahead.
Go right ahead and be a negative Nelly. Well, seriously, I'm still trying to figure this out. Oh, you're drowning in your 32-ounce cup. Boy, if we let some of that water out, you might live. But instead, we're going to vote to just keep it there at the full level, and let you drown. I don't know if that was a good example or not. But mostly, I feel sorry for this kid. And his name, Bronson Harmon. That's a name right there. I like it. It's not my favorite name, because my favorite name is still that mayor of San Francisco. What's her name? Do you remember? It's like a really cool name. I can't remember either. But anyway, Breed, something Breed. And I really liked it. So anyway, also women, if you want to make more than your husbands.
London Breed.
London Breed. That's a great name.
Thank you, Google.
Yes, thank you, Google. If you want to make more money than your husband, you want to live in Sacramento, San Francisco, or Los Angeles. There you go. And they often pay more for people who have college degrees. So I don't want to make more. I never wanted to make more than my husband. I wanted us both to make as much as we possibly could. It didn't matter to me, right? Who won and who didn't win. I went to one of the courthouses downtown this morning for some business, and I kid you not, Goose. I walked into the bathroom to use it, and there was a woman washing her clothes in the sink. And I thought, what am I, in Seattle? What's going on here? So, I mean, the frustrating thing was I wasn't able to wash my hands because she's sitting there doing her laundry. It was just one of those non sequiturs in life that makes you go, what did I just see? She wouldn't move out of the way. No, she was doing her laundry. And that's it's very, very, very important.
Makes me wonder where she's going to dry them.
Well, they didn't have the button pushy air blow dryer. They had the paper hand dryer, the one where you can't turn it's really hard to turn the thing. Anyway, what a day. All right, we will take our first break of the day, come back, and talk more about it. I got to tell you about Proposition 12, which is it has language finally, and Prop 12 is the one that will force you to pay more for eggs, pork, beef, anything animal rights activists really want it to. So I'll tell you about that when we get back, because it's going to be on the ballot in November. So we'll do that when we get back, and we'll talk a little bit about the supervisor, Leticia Perez, who was indicted yesterday. Not much has happened, but some has. So we'll talk about that when we get back as well. So we'll be right back.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license is not going to suspension. That's something here at Braemar Law we do for you.
Introducing the new California State Penitentiary Bologna Sandwich. Jail food sucks. Don't let your family eat jail food.
Your home is perfect. Until it's not. We understand that life has its changes. As your family grows, we're here to help grow with you. Because taking care of your family is important to you and important to us. Your story starts here with Cornerstone Mortgage.
We're back, and Inga is checking for a text message. Okay, and she got it. Now she can't read it. All right, we got rid of the green screen. Now we have the American flag. I love the American flag, so that's fine with me. I was driving through God, what is wrong with my brain today? Westchester today, and just the beautiful old houses and American flags up. It was just gorgeous. I absolutely loved it. All right, so in 2008 we did a couple of crazy things in the state of California. We voted to protect marriage, which was overturned, of a man and woman. We voted for let's see, what did we vote? Oh, high-speed rail. Voted for Obama. And we also voted for Proposition 2. Proposition 2 was so frightening to me because it was a requirement that chickens who lay eggs must have more space in their cage in which to roam about and be happy. You know, you see commercials now, some of them are cage-free and all that stuff. And the debate went for months. I was working in Fresno at the time, and Bakersfield and Fresno at the time. A lot of ag in Fresno. A lot of people have chickens and whatnots. And yeah, that's right, they have whatnots. And so I got a lot of information that I don't remember from people about, you know, the size of the cages, what happens when you let chickens just roam about together in large numbers. You know what they do? They kill each other. And then, they kill each other. And then when they drop an egg, there's poop on it, salmonella, blah, 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 blah. So it didn't matter to the people of California. We decided that we had to give them more space. We also decided to ban crating. Now, crating of pigs is done, well, sort of like veal. You know how little veal cows are kept in the... Well, veal's good. But they do that with, it is good. They do that with pigs when they are having their babies, because they roll over on their babies. That's what I was taught. That they roll over on their babies, so they crate them so that the babies can have access to the teats and mom doesn't squish them. Anyway, so we voted for this Proposition 2, and what ultimately happened was eggs, I think they're still pretty inexpensive. I mean, they really are, which is great. But the prices did go up. The cost to farmers went up. Jobs were lost. We're talking about whole construction jobs where farmers had to rebuild their what do you call them?
Pens?
Yeah. And so it was a great expense. Now, the biggest problem for the rest of the country is that California also said, and we won't do business with anybody who doesn't comply with our rules. So we won't take your milk, we won't take your eggs, we won't take your cheese unless you are compliant with our Proposition 2. So fast forward all these years, 16 years later, and we have Proposition 12 that is on the ballot. And I love it. This is what it says. This is from ABC down in LA, the KBC. Proposition 12 is looking to change how California gets its meat and prevent the abuse of farm animals in other states. What right do we have? We did that with gas. You know, the fuel standards. The auto industry had to change the way they built cars because California said they had to. And then they had to do it in other states as well, just because what are they going to build? The California blend car only? So what right do we have to tell other states what they should do? You got an attorney general and a governor who are suing the president for telling California what to do on federal law, right, in terms of immigration, and on health care. They're suing him, the administration, because they say that it should be states' rights. This should be a states' rights issue. Okay, well, in footage given exclusively to Eyewitness News by animal welfare organizations, Mercy for Animals is the name of this organization. Mercy for Animals, it shows the abuse of baby and adult pigs in a Kentucky farm. What does that have to do with me? Let's see. In it, baby pigs are killed after repeatedly being slammed into a concrete floor. Okay, those who survive spend adulthood in a crammed cage where they are unable to turn around. Now, I haven't seen this video. I don't know if the little piglets, which are very cute, are slammed into concrete by their own mother or if it's an accident. But I do know this. What farmer who wants to make a living makes their animals miserable and still expect to turn a profit? Right? Don't happy cows come from California? Why would a farmer take a piglet, who's a future money-making machine, and slam it against the concrete? I don't know. I'll have to watch the video. In it, the baby get kids after they're crammed and unable to turn around. These cages are considered so patently cruel, they've been banned in California. Yes, they have. Proposition 2, which was passed in California in 2008, banned those cages known as gestation crates in the state. But meat shipped to California from other states does not have to adhere to the same strict standards. But for this coming election, Prop 12 is looking to change that. It's also known as the Prevention of Cruelty to Farm Animals Act. Now, if you're watching me and you're an animal lover, I love you. You're wonderful. I'm an animal lover. We all love animals. Who doesn't love an animal of some sort? I'm rather fond of our desert tortoise that we have. But I also like to eat animals. And again, I'm going to say, I can't imagine that you get a good product from abused animals. So it's really difficult for me to believe that these animals are, what is it called again? It's for the sold meet California standards. The Prevention of Cruelty to Farmed Animals Act. That's what you're going to be voting on in November. This proposition would close that loophole. I love the word loophole. How often I've never purposefully used that word in a sentence unless I was quoting somebody else. But everybody uses it, in the media especially. This proposition would close that loophole and require that all of these animal products, if they were to be sold in California, would meet California's strict animal welfare laws. So, what's going to happen from that? Well, if another state or other states don't want to comply with this because they disagree or because they don't care about California, whatever. What does that mean to you? That means that you're going to be getting produce from California only. Well, that's great. That's fantastic. It'll be fresh. But there won't be as much of it. Prices will go up. Also, if we we let trucks in from Mexico with produce, for pity's sake. California's the stupidest state ever. And Arvin is the dumbest city currently. While the meat industry is an obvious opponent of the law, a surprising group has also spoken out against it. PETA. What? PETA's spoken out against it? The organization said it cannot support the prop, largely because it ignores the welfare of chickens. So all the animal rights people get together. They're all getting together, right? You got your PETA, you got your, what's this group called? Something about cruelty to animals and abuse of animals. And they're all getting around and they're working on this ballot measure. And the big thing that keeps them from agreeing is that there's not enough language about chickens in it. Thank you. I wrote a song. I wrote a song once.
How'd it go?
Well, it was called Give a Little Cluck, but it was about chickens because the city council was voting on whether or not, before Y2K, everybody in town should get a chicken. Well, they lay eggs, you can eat them, feathers.
There are only 3 ways I like my chicken.
Yeah?
Yeah, baked, barbecued, or fried. James here says we got free-range eggs for $3 a dozen.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I pay less than that because I don't care if they're free-range. But still, I mean, that's not a high price to pay, I don't think, for delicious, wonderful, wonderful deliciousness, which is eggs. I have had duck eggs in my house. Yeah, they're really rich, really, really rich. And I didn't know that they were duck eggs when I cooked 2 of them, thinking it was a regular egg, and they weren't. They were really big, and I was like, man, these are big. And then they tasted weird, and then I found out that I'd used up 2 of my son's duck eggs, so that he was planning to do something. Yeah, $3 isn't bad for a dozen eggs. I usually get 18, and I pay less than $3, but. Anyway, so the PETA gets in a big fight with this other animal rights organization because of chickens. The welfare of chickens. The welfare of chickens. Oh, sure, we got homeless people all over, up and down the state, but the welfare of chickens is their concern. Rice said, despite PETA's lack of support, the prop is important. I can't speak for PETA, but this is an important law that will help protect millions of animals around the country from some of the worst types of factory farm cruelty. While much of it, of what is seen in the footage of the that they have, I don't see it. I didn't see an option to watch it. But anyway, while much of what is seen in the footage is legal and considered standard industry practice, Mercy for Animals, oh, that's what they're called, Mercy for Animals, is filing a complaint with the Simpson County, Kentucky District Attorney's Office for legal abuses caught on camera. So there you go. There's the story, and because Kentucky has some things that animal rights activists don't like, we're going to vote in California to restrict produce from Kentucky. Which actually, I mean, how long does it take to travel? This could be troublesome. There's a grocery store here in town that it's one of those what do you call it? One of those sort of romantic grocery stores where everything's earthy and Trader Joe-esque, but it's not Trader Joe's.
I was gonna say Trader Joe's, but
I love Trader
Whole
Joe's.
Foods.
Well, don't make me say it.
I'll say it.
No, we don't have a Whole Foods here, do we? I don't think we do. We played a commercial.
I don't know if we do. You're right.
I don't think we do. So anyway, people have probably figured out what I'm talking about. And so I go in there one day, first time I'd ever been in there, and it was beautiful. The produce was beautiful, everything was. And so I grabbed a couple of avocados. And when I got up to the cash register, I said, I noticed that these, they've got all these things of Bakersfield in the store and stuff, right? Locally grown. And I said, I noticed that the avocados came from Guatemala. And the gal at the cash register said, oh. And I said, how long did it take them to get here? Just curious. And she had to ask a manager. It was about 2 weeks. It took about 2 weeks to get here. So maybe it's good that we block out every other state, because we don't want 2-week-old whatevers. Anyway, there you go. So you will be voting for this in November, among other things, of course. Lots of other things, and I wish you well. This is a hard one to argue, because I remember arguing it a lot, and it's a hard one to argue because they give you two choices: either you care about animals or you don't, right? So if you vote against this, you don't care if animals are tortured. Well, wait a minute, who's defining torture? I remember when Prop 2 was passed, one of the arguments was even, I kid you not, that chickens get depressed. I don't know what a depressed chicken looks like. I haven't a clue. All I know is ridiculous stuff like this just makes it more expensive. And when you add on to it state bond measures, county tax increases, city tax increases, your trash going up, all of that, it does add up to more than $3 for a dozen eggs. It really does in the end. So anyway, I thought that story was fantastic. Robert Price. Do you know Bob Price?
I've heard the name.
Yeah. He's a great guy. I'm surprised he's still with the Californian. But he's a terrific guy. But he wrote a piece today about this Leticia Perez situation. She was, indicted yesterday, arraignment today. She wasn't there, to my knowledge. Her lawyer took care of it all. But Bob Price wrote an interesting story debunking the argument that City Council member Bob Price also had a conflict of interest and only had to pay a fine. And I don't think Bob needs to write the whole article about it, because he makes the point with one of his first arguments, which was that was with fair political practices in Sacramento. That wasn't a local thing. And he paid a fine, I'm sure. This is different. This is different. But yeah, it is tough. I think it is tough to figure out what conflict of interest means. I mean, does conflict of interest mean that she should never have voted on anything involving weed because her husband is a lobbyist for weed? Would it have been the same when my husband was alive? If I had to recuse myself every time I voted, if I were in Congress, say, about funding diabetes research? I mean, I don't know when it becomes a conflict of interest, is basically what I'm saying. I know that if you stand to gain financially, it's a conflict of interest. But, stand to gain directly or stand to gain indirectly, that's where I start getting a little bit confused. I do. I'm sorry. I mean, her husband is a lobbyist for marijuana. She voted on 2 different occasions regarding marijuana. Okay. I have friends who speak on behalf of the oil industry. Their spouses are in the oil industry. They're not voting, they're lobbying. Maybe that's not a conflict of interest. It all confuses me. Anyway, but if you get a chance to read Bob Price's piece, I think it's pretty good. He does say, and you were there, Goose, so you would know. He says, either way, regarding the story, I hope Perez's attorney, H.A. Sala, has more legal ammo strapped to his ankle than what was hanging from his gun belt on Tuesday. So he's claiming it's flim-flammy or flimsy, and that he goes after her. He plays a race card. She's a woman. She's the only woman. She's the only Democrat. She's the only Latina. And as I said on my Facebook last night, after calling the people of Arvin, the City Council of Arvin, idiots, was that what I said yesterday on this show. I hope she's not guilty of it, because she's a nice gal. She's a solid gal. I like her. And to me, supervisors, city council, it's really less about party affiliation. So I don't hold it against her because she's a Democrat. I called her once because something had happened. I want to say it was in her district that she didn't know about. It was an elderly man on, I want to say, P Street, whose house caught on fire. It was an electrical fire, and he'd been living in his front yard in the summer for months, just sleeping and living on his front yard. And there was a news story about it. I guess it caught my attention, and I called her, and she was on it. The repairs were being done before the day's end. And so I'm not gonna hope that she's guilty because she's a Democrat, or hope that she's guilty because I have my position on weed, which I still don't know what my position is anymore. Oh yes, I do. My position on weed is I wish we didn't have to talk about it. But I wish her well, and we'll see what happens. I agree with Bob Price that she's probably never going to go to court and never see a judge, and there will be some kind of something worked out, and this will go away after some time. So anyway, there you go. Ooh, the front page of the paper has H.A. Sala on it, and he's mad. Was he mad yesterday?
He was salty.
You use that word to...
I do use that term quite often.
Use that word to describe me.
I will say he was not pleased. I will not say he was mad, but he was not pleased.
Okay, there you go. So he says the evidence... I'm reading a lot today. You can take a nap. Just listen to my sultry voice. The Kern have a single email, text message, or transcript, or any reliable statement that Supervisor Perez's decision on her cannabis vote is in any way compromised. I don't know what to do with that, because again, I don't fully understand when something is a conflict of interest and when it isn't. Back to the Bob Smith story with the City Council. He had appeared before the Planning Commission on behalf of one of his clients. The Planning Commission advises the City Council on how to vote. And so he actually went to the city attorney and asked Ginny Gennaro, who by the way is fun to drink with. We just had a glass of wine, but we had fun. She told him it wasn't a conflict, so he went in believing that it wasn't a conflict. So that would be my next question about Supervisor Perez. Did she know it was a conflict? I don't know. But there's not an email, a text message, a transcript, or any reliable statement about her decision that in any way was compromised Well, it's a given that her husband is a lobbyist and would have benefited financially from the vote. By the way, whatever that vote was, she was the only one who made it, who made the vote that she made. Yes or no? I do not know. Of her official duties, it is apparent from circumstances considered by the prosecutor that their case is based upon unreliable, unsubstantiated, and conclusory. Quick, look it up. Conclusory statements which the defense is prepared to thoroughly discredit. So Solo's going to get in there. He's good. He's good. So we shall see what we shall see. All right, we'll take a break. I'll try to come back and with some enthusiastic and exciting news for you. By the way, don't forget about even in conversation tonight, or if you're laying there in bed and you're not like me and watching the TV all the time, and you just lay there and think. I don't know how you do it. Do you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody does that. My brain is, and it's not because I'm smart. My brain is going like this, and the thing is I'm not curing any diseases. In there. I'm not building a great monument or something. I'm just going, I'm just like singing something, from Roger Rabbit, binging around. It's really very sad. But anyway, what was it? Oh, don't forget, talk to your kids. I think you should talk to your kids, talk to your college students about what happened to this young wrestler out of Modesto. Having his scholarship taken away from him at Cal Poly for something he said and did on film in Modesto. And the only I bet if he'd have just flipped the person off, it wouldn't have mattered. But because he used a gay slur, which the Brits used for a cigarette, yeah. And we don't even know if it was at a gay person. I mean, this is a dangerous world if you open your mouth, my friends. Dangerous world. All right, so we'll be right back, and I look forward to talking to you on the other side.
Your home is perfect. Until it's not. We understand that life has its changes. As your family grows, we're here to help grow with you. Because taking care of your family is important to you and important to us. Your story starts here with Cornerstone Mortgage.
Patriot Bail Bonds has the best customer service in Bakersfield. Patriot has more 5-star ratings than any bail company in Kern County. Plus, we're fast and affordable. If you run into the law, make Patriot Bail Bonds your first call. That's right, one call, that's all.
If you're in jail, call Patriot Bail.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license does not go into suspension. That's something here at Bramer Law we do for you.
What on earth are you doing? Good gravy.
We were talking about chickens.
Chicken sauce. We were.
Thought we'd bring in a little chicken song.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
You've got a lot of comments about this chicken thing. It is absolutely crazy. Honestly,
I love you people. I love you people.
$5 dozen at the Walmart on East Side for $4.
How many? 4 dozen?
5 dozen.
5 dozen. Wow, that's good.
Lance was saying, L. Ed says they want to know if they're free range chickens, though.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, then
I can tell you I'll pay $7 or more at the farmer's market this weekend for a dozen.
Carl says the 99-cent store is 2 dozen for $1.99.
Yeah, I'm not buying something that could give me disease at the dollar store. I'm not that fond of salmonella.
Let me see. Lance says Sprouts. That's all he said. And
that was the star.
And the mighty.
I haven't been back. I haven't been back, by the way, because I don't want 2-week-old avocados. If I wanted those, I'd go to the 99-cent store. What's that? Who? What?
I said the mighty Michael Big Lace said, just remember, guys, don't keep all your eggs in one basket.
Pretty good stuff there. I love you people so much. Yeah, I'm not saying that you won't be able to afford them. I'm just saying that this is also going to happen with pork and other animals, I'm sure. And as everything incrementally gets more expensive, This is why Republicans often argue about the necessity for a minimum wage. Because it's all fine and well that the Walmart started paying everybody $15 an hour or $20 an hour, whatever it is. But that I went through a drive-through once a couple months ago, and the gal said to me, she quoted me the price for my, I was getting a hamburger. I'm such an idiot. I should never eat hamburger, but I was. And well, let's make it a turkey sandwich. And the price was out of this world. And but I don't remember the exchange that we had. But in the exchange that we had, what I learned from her was she'd gotten a raise, but they cut her hours, and the food was more expensive. So you just pile that on in California with all of the other things. Your electricity prices are going up. They're going to go up. You can talk about your great, awesome for your solar people. So anyway, thank you for the egg formation. Yes, I think we really cracked this story open. What? No, what?
Well, I was going to say we either fried it or scrambled it. Either way, so I'm going to let you get back.
You're going to let me get back to it. Thank you very much. I was thinking this morning. I kid you not. These are the things that my brain does. Because it's not curing any diseases. I'm laying there in bed and I look out the window and I see how dark it is. And you know what that's going to mean? It's going to be a wet day, hot, wet day. And I thought, I'm a large woman, sort of blimp-esque, and then I started working with that. And I thought, what did the blimp of a woman say when she stepped outside? Oh, the humidity. And you guys can take that. I just made it up.
Try the veal, it's good. And make sure you tip your waitresses on the way out.
Tip your waitress, we'll be here all week. All right. The interesting story of Diane. I think that's a good joke. I just have to figure out how to turn my weight into me being a blimp. I gotta work that. But otherwise, I think I got gold. I think I've got gold. Dianne Feinstein is in a tragic place right now. It's really weird. California Democrats have absolutely turned on her. Have you seen the stories or read the stories? Well, this last weekend, she was passed over for the endorsement of the California Democratic Party. They chose what's his head? Stupid guy who doesn't know how many bullets are in a gun. What's his name? De Leon. They chose De Leon. Now Feinstein, I mean, that would be like, I think I think the majority of Republicans I know wish that John McCain would retire, right? But it would never happen. I mean, the reason he ran for president was because we were like, we're probably going to lose this one anyway. Let the war hero have it. That's what we did with Bob Dole. Clinton's going to win anyway. Let's give it to old Bob. He got hurt for our country, et cetera, et cetera. So Dianne Feinstein, she's the old guard of the Democrat Party. She's a rock star. At one point, she was the most popular politician in the state of California, and now she is getting ready to run for her fifth term, and she's 85. If she stays in that, if she wins the seat and wins re-election, she will be, 91 when she is up for re-election. And here's the thing, I don't care about Dianne Feinstein. I think she's sneaky, but I also think she's reasonable. Kevin De Leon is this new generation of progressives that work on emotion, on folklore, on race, on feelings, on love. People like Feinstein, though she's a liberal and doesn't always use her brain, she doesn't float around on love and, she's anti-gun, got all these things that we don't like. But here's what I'm thinking. Top two, jungle primary. She and De Leon are the top two. She got more votes than he did. And now they're going at each other into November. And Democrats who are fond of her are going to show up and vote for her. And Republicans who have the choice of Kevin De Leon and or Dianne Feinstein, I say 6 more years for Di-Fi. I will vote for Dianne Feinstein, and I think a lot of Republicans will. So it's going to be interesting. But this one article that I saw this morning said that she treats her position as if it's a lifetime appointment. I mean, it's just not a way people. It's just not a way people would have talked about her, in the Sacramento Bee 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So
truthfully, nobody's really ran against her. In my opinion, nobody's really ran against her.
Boxer was mean. See, now Boxer was a meanie bobini. I'm glad she's out. But Feinstein, I don't see. Certainly don't see a reason to replace her with somebody who believes that we should have open borders in California and strongly believes in the welfare state, strongly believes in passing environmental law left and right, and doesn't know how many bullets are in a gun. He's, can I use the word idiot again? So in fact, I think he said once that all of his family here in America are illegally here. And he was proud of that.
And to all your Ice Ages, Kevin De Leon's address is.
Yeah, really. So that reminds me, my boy one of my twins, finally got his ancestry DNA back. And it's funny is how people say, I thought we were German in the commercials, I had the lederhosen or whatever, and in fact I was Scottish, and then they put on the kilt. Well, here's the thing, that can't happen in my family because my grandfather was the child of 2 Swedes who came here in the late 1800s. It's documented. They were fully Swedish people, lived in the Swedish land of Swedish fish, ate sticky fish. What's that called? I forget. My sister likes it. The pickled herrings or something. And what's it called? Gefilte?
Gefilte fish?
Or is that Jewish?
I thought that was Jewish.
I think it is Jewish. Anyway, they were absolutely, I've got their documents when they became citizens. And, they vow to leave the country of, and they write in Sweden. My son's DNA thing made him mostly West European, which that makes sense. A lot of British, a lot of French, and Netherlands, Switzerland, no Sweden. How can that be? For the first time in my life, I'm doubting DNA. I pointed at my phone because that's where he sent it to me. So now I'm even more curious about how they do this process. So last night I looked up West Europe. I thought, well, maybe Sweden is part of West Europe. It's not! How could that be? That's just, I'm telling you, I'm questioning.
It's Scandinavia.
Well, that's not in there either.
Huh?
Yeah, they don't even mention Scandinavia. They mention Switzerland and the Netherlands. Yeah, so here it is. Here it is. DNA story for Samuel. Ethnicity regions: Europe West, 64%. Irish, Scottish, and Welsh, I knew that too, 17%. British, 6%. The Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana settlers, Central North Carolina, Missouri. These are all places where Swedish Amish people lived. But there's no Swedish. Okay, just thought I'd share. It gets on my nerves. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. And I'm out of work. I'm out of stuff to say today. I think I'm out of stuff to say. I would love to know, though, if any of you guys are going to vote for Dianne Feinstein, because I think, because I absolutely will do anything. No, wait, I can't say that. And last time somebody said we'll do anything to stop a candidate, he ended up testifying before Congress. So I won't say that, but I'll do what I can do to stop Kevin De Leon from getting into office. Did you see that video of the Vegas police officer or deputy in the chase?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, you know about it.
I do know. I mean, I've been here all day, so.
Well, he's. It starts when they try to stop a murder suspect. So the murder suspect is in the vehicle in front of the officer, and they shoot at the officer. So he chases after this guy, and he's got the sirens going. He's right behind him, and he's shooting out his own
I have seen
windshield.
That. I have seen that.
and everybody is just amazed. And one of the bad guys died when it was in custody, and everybody's like, "Man, this is how hard it is to be a deputy." And and that's actually what whoever it was that posted it from the department. That's what they actually said. We hoped that people would see that, how stressful these moments are, and they only last this long. Officers have to make big decisions. And I'm such a Debbie Downer. I'm sitting there with my dad last night, and we're watching the film, and he and I both had the same reaction, which was, how did he know he would hit his target while driving down the road on a street that had pedestrians, other cars? I mean, somebody needs to talk to him about planning his gunfights, but they shot at him first. Mm-hmm. So, and then he got up next to them, and I thought he was trying to shoot out their tires, but I don't think he was. It's just wild seeing an officer shoot through his own windshield. And but there was a situation years ago where I want to say it was CHP officers. Might have been sheriff's deputies. They were having some kind of an event at the Regency on Buck Owens Boulevard. Is it called the Regency? I think it's something like that. And they were having some kind of a forum or a morning breakfast. And some guy who apparently didn't like law enforcement decided to get his ball peen hammer and start bashing in their headlights and their windows while they were inside. And I don't know how long it took them to find out what this guy was doing, but when they got out there, they shot at him. He was aggressive with a ball peen hammer. But they shot onto Buck Owens Boulevard, right? Any number of cars could be there, people could be there. And those are the things that they have to think about. And I can't imagine being in that position. I really can't. So I both laud the guy and would love to ask him to just make sure there's nobody on the other side of that wall you're shooting at. Just something to think about. All right, we'll take a break. Are we coming back?
Yes, we'll come back.
Oh, we're coming back? All right, we'll take a break and come back. I got something else I can say. 'Cause I'm smart.
Bail Bonds has the best customer service in Bakersfield. Patriot has more 5-star ratings than any bail company in Kern County. Plus, we're fast and affordable. If you run into the law, make Patriot Bail Bonds your first call. That's right, one call, that's all.
If you're in jail, call Patriot Bail.
What's this? The state of California has stopped the attempt to split the state of California in 3? That's terrible. Shouldn't we be able to vote on that?
Oh, big surprise.
Yeah. Well, it would be a mess. I mean, it would be, how do you implement something like that? That would just be crazy. Anyway, welcome back. I'm Inga, and we're getting ready to close up shop, but I did have another couple of things on my mind that I wanted to mention to you. One of them is that we now in Kern County have a 911 on text.
That's right.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, can I just put them in my text, in my contacts? Well, I guess you'd want to have 911 in your contacts. But yeah, because what if you're in a situation where you're hiding under the bed or whatever, wherever you are, and you don't even want to whisper, right? So you just text 911. Now, the one thing I'm wondering is, do the police text you back, or do they call you back? You know, I can't imagine they'd call you back because you're texting them for a reason. But I don't know. I remember one time, the late great Michael Barks was deaf, and he was legally deaf, and he didn't have hearing aids at the time. We were living in East Bakersfield, at the corner of Flower and Robinson. It's a very interesting time in our lives. And my dog, when we got married, my dog married his dog, right? And so I tell you this because one night I heard, and Michael didn't hear it, but I heard scuffle, like somebody was trying to open up a window, you know, and it freaked me out. And I woke him up calmly, because you can't wake up somebody who can't, if they can't hear, you can't wake them up violently. And he grabbed his 9mm, I think, that he had at the time, and I ended up in the bathroom. Why? I don't know. With a locked door, calling 911. Turns out it was the dogs just getting to know each other. They were wrestling. Yeah, dogs. It was a pit bull and a lab, and they were just. So I'm really proud of that moment. But I was afraid to talk to the police because I thought that whoever that is going to hear me. I also thought whoever that is having a very hard time opening my bedroom window. So, because it took them a long time. But man, the cops were there fast. Where did you say you live, ma'am? But anyway, so I think this is going to be great because you can text authorities if you can't talk to them, and that's pretty good. It is part of a state-mandated program to provide the service. All right, let's see. Authorities have cautioned that texting 911 should only be used as a last resort in certain instances, like domestic violence. Absolutely, that it would be my first resort in a moment of domestic violence. 911. Let's see. What does it say? Home invasion. Yes. Human trafficking. Yeah, I think that calls for 911. I think that would be good. So anyway, I think it's a great idea. I'm glad they're doing it. It's a terrific system. I found this story this last weekend, and it kind of goes with my confusion about how angry and violent people seem to be getting about everything. Politics. I know. I'm not saying people didn't fight before. I saw what was that movie called? Leonardo DiCaprio, The Boroughs of New York, or what? Gangs of New York. I saw that. Tammany Hall, all that stuff. Yeah, I get it. People have always, done crazy things over crazy things. But this one is new to me. There's a waitress at an Applebee's, not here. It was in Atlanta. She's working at the Applebee's when she is attacked by 4 women. And when I say women, I mean, I'll show you their picture. They're clearly not 12-year-olds. Can you see them?
Get a little higher.
A little higher?
Yep.
Clearly not 12-year-olds. So they beat the crud out of her. She ended up at the hospital getting stitches. These ladies all end up in jail. Why? Why did they beat the waitress? Because as she was serving them food, she accidentally kicked or hit one of the lady's knees with her leg. I just, I understand if there's one person who is sociopathic enough that they would do something like that. They're so narcissistic or angry or full of roid rage or whatever that they would do that to somebody. But how did 4 women get together with that same personality and say, yeah, you know what? I think we should beat this woman. Beat her to a pulp. She bumped your knee. She actually bumped the knee twice. And she apologized both times. So, but these don't look like small women, so I'm guessing that the leg was out, in the aisle. The waitress had brushed up against her leg, and then you got to go to court. You got to go to court and see a judge, right? And the judge is going to say, "Why did you beat this woman up?" She brushed up against my knee. I would be so mortified, wouldn't you? I'd be mortified to say that. The waitress, who was in her 20s, apologized, claiming it was an accident. After the table complained about not receiving their food, the waitress went to the kitchen to get it, and when she came back to serve them their food, she brushed up against the woman again. The server tried to walk away, but the situation turned violent. All 4 of them. When do you have that conversation with each other? You guys, are you good to go? I'm good to go. You good to go? Show hands? Let's do it. She came back a second time. Okay, the server tried to walk away. The situation got violent. All 4 of them got out of the table, so they must have been in a booth situation, and began to assault the waitress. They even used a steak knife. Hey, Mom, have you ever seen the inside of a cell? Yeah, once. What'd you do? Stabbed a waitress for brushing up against me. I mean, it's the height of idiocy. And I don't get it. I don't get the mentality. I don't get that there are grown-ups working and walking around on this planet that have gotten to the point where they would commit acts of violence over something so ridiculous. I know you men have done it for generations. Walking in the bar, somebody bumps you, hey. But that's because you're men. Well, maybe these are men. They look like women to me. So anyway, all right. I think I've shared my last little tidbit for today. Go back home, finish my nap. Yeah. No, I'm not. No napping for me. And then, and I thank you all for playing along today. And I look forward to talking to you on the morrow. Did you like that?
On the morrow.
Little medieval language there for you. All right, well then I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. I'm broadcasting from the beautiful Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame with Blue Sky Media and Kerncast Studios, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I do think Denise is coming up soon.
Yep.
All righty, bye-bye.